North Sentinel Island, India. In the Bay of Bengal lies an island where time stopped 60,000 years ago, and anyone who sets foot there faces almost certain death. North Sentinel Island covers approximately 60 square kilometers, 23 square miles, and sits 22 miles west of South Andaman Island. The Sentinelese people are one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth, and they have made their message crystal clear: stay away or die. The Sentinelese have lived in complete isolation for over 60,000 years, maintaining a hunter-gatherer lifestyle with zero outside influence. Anthropologists believe they arrived during the first human migration out of Africa, making them one of the oldest continuous cultures on the planet. They are estimated to number between 50 and 150 people based on distant aerial observations. Their technology remains Stone Age level, using bows and arrows, spears, and dugout canoes. They practice fishing, hunting, and gathering wild plants. Their language is completely unknown to the outside world, having had no influence from any other linguistic group for millennia. The Sentinelese have no immunity to modern diseases. A common cold could wipe out their entire civilization within weeks, making contact potentially genocidal. Poveglia Island, Italy. Between Venice and Lido in the Venetian lagoon lies Poveglia Island complex, consisting of 3 separate landmasses connected by artificial structures. Poveglia's recorded history dates back to 421 AD, when it served as a refuge during barbarian invasions. For centuries, it was a peaceful fishing community, until the bubonic plague transformed it into Europe's most notorious quarantine station. From 1793 to 1814, it operated as a lazaretto, a plague isolation facility designed to prevent disease spread to mainland Venice. The island processed over 160,000 plague victims across multiple outbreaks. When the Black Death struck Europe in 1348, Venice pioneered the modern quarantine system, giving us the word quarantine from the Italian quaranta, meaning 40 days, the isolation period required for suspected plague ships. Archaeological excavations have uncovered mass graves containing 1,500 skeletal remains, but researchers believe thousands more bodies remain buried across the island. The sheer volume of cremations led to the persistent local belief that 50% of the soil consists of human ash, though scientific verification remains incomplete. In 1922, a psychiatric hospital operated on the island until 1968, when it closed amid allegations of patient mistreatment. The abandoned buildings now slowly crumble, overtaken by vegetation and frequented only by researchers studying its historical significance. The Italian government has attempted to auction 99-year leases for the island multiple times, hoping to transform it into a luxury resort, but legal complications and public opposition have prevented development. Today, Poveglia remains strictly off-limits to unauthorized visitors. Gruinard Island, Scotland. Off Scotland's northwest coast lies Gruinard Island, that became one of the world's most contaminated places during World War II. Located in Gruinard Bay between Gairloch and Ullapool in the Scottish Highlands, this once peaceful island was transformed into something terrifying. In 1942, the British government purchased Gruinard for just £500. £500 as part of Operation Vegetarian, a secret biological warfare program investigating anthrax as a weapon. Scientists from Porton Down, Britain's chemical and biological defense establishment, conducted experiments to determine if anthrax spores could be weaponized for mass deployment over Nazi Germany. Anthrax is caused by Bacillus anthracis. The strain they used, called Volum 14578, named after Oxford University bacteriology professor Roy Lars Volum, who supplied this highly virulent culture. The experiments were horrifying. Scientists detonated small explosive charges, filled with anthrax spores, near tethered sheep. All exposed animals died within 3 days, proving the concept's deadly viability. After the war ended, Gruinard remained quarantined for 48 years. The government installed warning signs stating, "Danger, this island is under government control and landing is prohibited around the island and adjacent mainland." The spores proved so persistent that samples taken in 1979 still contained viable anthrax bacteria. In 1981, environmental activists calling themselves the Dark Harvest Commandos illegally collected 300 pounds of contaminated soil and left packages at government facilities. This bold action forced official recognition of the contamination problem. Decontamination finally began in 1986. It involved applying 280 tons of formaldehyde solution diluted in seawater across the entire island. After 4 years of monitoring, using test sheep as living detectors, the island was declared safe in 1990 and returned to the original owner's heirs for the original purchase price of just 500 pounds. Heard Island, Australia. In the southern Indian Ocean, 4,100 kilometers southwest of Perth, Australia, lies one of the most isolated and inhospitable places on Earth. The island itself is a hellscape of volcanic activity and extreme weather. It's dominated by Big Ben volcano with Mawson Peak rising 2,745 meters above sea level. The volcano regularly spews lava while massive glaciers tumble down its slopes. The island is shrouded in dense clouds for about 360 days per year, making it nearly invisible most of the time. The Australian government strictly limits access to preserve this pristine environment. Only a handful of scientific expeditions are permitted each year, and they require extensive permits from the Australian Antarctic Division. Even then, there are no safe harbors for boats to dock, and the surrounding ocean is perpetually rough and dangerous. Being in such a remote and wild place is pretty humbling. You have to be very aware of the potential danger you could be in, and how unlikely it is that you could be rescued if something does go wrong. The island is home to massive colonies of seabirds, penguins, and seals. But humans are decidedly unwelcome. The International Union for Conservation of Nature lists Heard Island as a World Heritage Site, and it remains one of the few places on Earth that remains truly wild and untouched by human interference. Niihau Island, Hawaii. Just 17 miles off the coast of Kauai lies an island that time forgot, known as Hawaii's Forbidden Island. Niihau has been privately owned by the same family for over 150 years, and they've kept it completely isolated from the modern world. The Robinson family purchased Niihau from the Kingdom of Hawaii in 1864 for $10,000 in gold. The island is home to about 170 native Hawaiians who live much as their ancestors did. They speak Hawaiian as their primary language, practice traditional crafts, and live without most modern conveniences. No cars, no stores, and no hotels. The main transportation is by horseback or on foot. Access to Niihau is granted only to residents and military personnel. Even relatives of residents need special permission to visit. The restriction originally began in 1952 during a polio epidemic to protect the islanders from disease, but it continued as a way to preserve their unique way of life. The island operates almost like a time capsule. Children attend a one-room schoolhouse. Families raise cattle and sheep. Residents can leave any time they want. But once they go, returning becomes extremely difficult. Niihau represents one of the last places where pre-contact Hawaiian culture survives intact, making it invaluable to anthropologists and historians. Surtsey Island, Iceland. In 1963, fishermen off the coast of Iceland witnessed something extraordinary: the birth of a new island. Surtsey emerged from the ocean in a series of volcanic eruptions that lasted 4 years, creating the youngest landmass on Earth. And from the moment it cooled, humans were banned from setting foot on it. Surtsey represents a unique scientific opportunity, a completely sterile environment where scientists can study how life colonizes new land without any human interference. The island has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is strictly protected from human contamination. The island serves as a natural laboratory for studying ecological succession, how plants and animals naturally colonize new environments. Since 1964, scientists have documented the arrival of seeds carried by wind and ocean currents, the establishment of bird colonies, and the gradual development of soil from volcanic rock. What makes Surtsey fascinating is how quickly life has taken hold. Within decades, the island has been colonized by dozens of plant species. Several bird species have established breeding colonies, and seals have begun using the beaches. Surtsey remains one of the purest examples of how nature reclaims and develops new land without human interference.